Hi. Continuing on the discussion we have been having on going freelancing, I'm happy to bring you the third episode in the series today. In this episode, I'm going to be talking to you about the first 100 days. I mean, what are the first few things that we need to be doing when we launch our freelancing business? The first thing I believe is important to be done is to clearly define what is your offering, right? What is the service? What is the product? Whatever it is that you're bringing to the market, what is the value proposition behind that service? So for instance, if I'm launching a service related to IT delivery or to testing or whatever it is that I'm doing, right? I'm a sales consultant, I'm a marketing consultant, whatever you're bringing to the table, be clear about the challenges that you're trying to solve and the benefits that you're going to offer under your service. So having that clarity about what is your value proposition, and of course, who is the target market? Like for example, in my case, I had to decide that the target market I'm going after is a small and mid-sized business, because large enterprises are probably not the best target for my kind of services. So define your target market, define your value proposition. That's the first one. The second thing that one must do definitely is define and think of an appropriate name for your business. You may have to check on websites like MCA whether that name is actually available. But whatever name you think of, just think that if I were to speak to a client about if someone asks you about the name of your company, what would I feel when I say that name? What would they think when they hear that name? Will it remind them about something that you're bringing to the table? Will it give them an idea about what your value proposition is? If there is an option to do that, that's fantastic. So an appropriate name, and also check if a similar sounding domain name is available. You can do that on websites like GoDaddy.com or Big Rock. Go and check if these similar sounding domains are available. So that's the second thing. The third thing that I suggest you do is, if you don't have a LinkedIn profile, go create one. And if you already have a LinkedIn profile, I would recommend that, this is a good time for you to go and update it, make it as contemporary, as professional as possible. Your LinkedIn profile should reflect who you are and what value you add. All your previous stints that you have done, whichever companies you have worked for, that experience is valuable. That adds credibility. So it's important that your profile, your LinkedIn profile, exactly reflects what are the things that you have done, what are the roles you have played in those companies. So on your LinkedIn profile, you need to reflect all the companies that you have worked for. That experience should come out very well because it adds credibility to your profile. So for instance, if you worked for an XYZ company, do mention what is the role you were playing there, what were your key achievements, what value have you added. If you worked with certain large clients who would be willing to vouch for the work you've done, do mention them, because these are the things that somebody would look at if they are to hire you as a freelancer. Then I would also suggest that you create a LinkedIn page for your own company, right? I mean, if you have now thought of a name for the company, you've registered that name with the MCA, and if that name is available, it's a good time now for you to create a LinkedIn page of your company. There are enough number of videos available on LinkedIn itself, help videos, and several on YouTube as well, on how to create a LinkedIn page for your company. So please do that, because it adds a certain touch of professionalism. You might want to think of a good logo for your company. My advice would be, if you have friends in the advertising or creative content industry, request somebody to make a small logo for you. I think it makes sense to even pay for it, because at least you'll get a decent professional looking logo. So create a LinkedIn page for your company. The next step, of course, then is to register your company. Do you want to register your company as a proprietorship or as an LLP or as a private limited company? Well, I would recommend that to start with, a proprietorship is a decent way to start, because an LLP, while it adds a touch of professionalism to your organization name, it certainly comes with its share of compliances. There are a lot of compliances that come with having LLP structure for your organization, and an LLP is relevant, especially when you have maybe 2 or 3 people coming together to start, a firm with multiple freelancers. But if you're like a lone ranger, probably a proprietorship is a decent way to go. Then another thing that I would recommend is probably buying a domain for a website. Now you can decide this whether this is really relevant for your business. I don't say this is like a absolutely essential thing, especially if you're just like a single freelancer. But I do vouch that having a good professional looking website, it definitely adds to the sheen that your profile has. It makes you look like an organization and not just one individual who's looking for freelancing engagements. So a website which clearly defines what are the services you provide, what can a customer expect, which clients have you worked for, and so on, is very, very useful. It makes you look like a real true professional. There are, it's possible to build websites using WordPress. There are a lot of free templates available. If you want to do it yourself, if you have the time to do it yourself, do it yourself. Or else you could even go to maybe some small, there are a lot of mom and pop shops, freelancers again, who build websites for freelancers like us. So you could always approach some of these, evaluate who's done good work, and just go ahead with them. Now, the next very important step, this need not wait till you have got all these steps in place. But one very important step is inform all your friends, all your colleagues, ex-colleagues, your ex-customers that you have worked for. You inform all of them that you have started off anew as a freelancer, and request for help, request for referrals. It is a fact that out of the people you contact, probably not more than even, I would say, 10 to 20% will even respond. A lot of people, when you post on LinkedIn that, hey, I've started as a freelancer, hundreds of people will, like your post. They will, put up a thumbs up for you, say congratulations and so on. But a small percentage actually come forward to help you. But it is important that we make that effort to inform all the relevant people who could potentially help us that we have started anew. Once we have done all this, obviously, we should build some sort of a business plan. A business plan is useful because it gives you focus. It helps you to know what are the services you're taking to the market, what kind of revenue you plan to get from those services, in what time frame. So building a business plan, it could be a simple Excel sheet, doesn't have to be something very elaborate, but just building that plan brings in a lot of focus. It ensures that you are answerable to someone. You should share that business plan with maybe your spouse, maybe 1 or 2 friends, well-wishers. This is what I plan to do. Take opinions from them, what could be better, and also become accountable to them. Because if you've shared a business plan with you, you should be willing to field questions. If they ask you 3 months down the line or 6 months down the line, then what are you doing with your business plan? That's another advantage of creating a business plan and creating a goal and then sharing it. And last but certainly not the least, the most important thing to do in your first 100 days is to find your first 3 clients. Right? These first 3 clients, they could come from some friends, they could come from family, they could come from clients that you have worked for in the past. It really doesn't matter where they come from, but finding the first 3 clients and delivering absolutely exceptional value to them, to the point where they're willing to shout from rooftops that this guy is excellent. This is the most important step that you need to achieve in your first 100 days. So these are some of the thoughts that I want to share with you about what is it that a freelancer should be looking to do in the first 100 days. I hope that you found this helpful. I will continue to post further content in the subsequent episodes about what else a freelancer can do to grow their business, what kind of challenges, what kind of tips and tricks and tools one could use to become more efficient. So do stay tuned. Do follow me, do follow 10xTD, do follow Go Push Consulting so that you are updated on all this content. Thank you very much for your time. Goodbye.